Here's a little touching story for all of you from my past. I believe this was in my freshman or sophomore year of high school, and puberty was coming in full swing. My body was changing, I was getting hair on my nutsack, my butthole. My height really wasn't changing. I've pretty much been short my whole life. 5'6" has pretty much been my max level cap. Hopefully soon there'll be a new patch or a new expansion set to this godforsaken world where they can increase my height without having to obliterate my fucking legs in some back alley meth lab. But anyway, that's not really part of the story about me being short. Anyway, I was going through a really hard porn addiction phase. I was an absolute porn fiend, and one day before class, I wanted to see some vagina. I wanted to ejaculate. I wanted to just bust a nut real hard before class. But I couldn't. I watched a lot of porn for the better part of 25 minutes, which for me was a bender and a half. Usually I would have come 3 times during that period back then. But on this cursed day, my well was dried up and I had no more semen left to give my boxers. It's also worth noting as an important detail, during this time I never needed to jerk off. I never even knew how. I'd always just ejaculate after getting an erection, and sometimes I'd try different techniques like slapping it around or something to see if that helped the sensations or anything, but I never really jerked off. That's the point here. I could ejaculate using just the power of my intellect and euphoric gamer senses. I was able to just propel cum when I was stimulated visually or mentally. Alright, so now take that little nugget of wisdom and put it in your back pocket and save it for trivia night. It's going to play a major role in the plot a little further down the line in this story. So I wanted to stay home and just ejaculate because I thought something was wrong with me. I thought my dick stopped working or God banned me from ejaculating. I just thought something was awry, and I wanted to stay home, but my parents wouldn't let me because that day we had a school play to perform. It was Hamlet, and I was playing the role of fucking P. Diddy. Who's the character with the P in his name? Palpatine? Jesus, it's definitely not fucking Palpatine. I'm not playing Chancellor Palpatine or anything like that. It's like Polonius. I was playing Polonius, and he gets stabbed, and I guess that's like crucial to the story maybe. So I couldn't miss it. My parents didn't want me to miss it. They'd already planned on going to see it, so I couldn't skip school that day to ejaculate. Plus, that's not exactly a strong reason. I was very forward with why I didn't want to go to school. I was telling my parents, look, I just want to come. No sane parents can be like, you know what, that's a good excuse, Harold. Let's not send him to school today. So I get sent to school. I go through school per usual, and the play was supposed to take place right after school ended. So, yeah, I was able to push back the desire to ejaculate and all that for the entire school day and up till the play, and I was rehearsing my lines or my actions. And all of a sudden, all at once, it was like a light switch went off. It was like I was having a fucking Jimmy Neutron brain blast in like the costume room, and all I was seeing was porn. Like my eyes just rolled into the back of my head, and all I was looking at was porn. Like I was Professor Xavier who just jacked into Cerebro, and I was seeing all of the porn that I'd ever seen in my life all at once. And I got hard as a fucking rock. And I knew that was dangerous because, like I said earlier, I never needed to like physically stimulate myself to ejaculate. So I'm sitting there in my Polonius costume on the verge of just blowing a hard load into it right before going on stage, and I'm panicking because we're about to perform this play and I have some shit I gotta do in the play. Like, I'd hate to be the guy that gets stabbed in the play, the curtain rolls back, and then all of a sudden I'm just laying on the floor with a boner and a wet spot in front of the whole school and all the school's parents. That'd be terrifying for all of them and myself. So I'm trying to brainstorm ideas. I didn't want to just go blow a load into the toilet because that thought never really occurred to me then. So my plan was to just start chugging water as quickly as I could and just try and pee out my erection. I thought that would work if I just kept urine flowing the best I could. I only had like T-minus 20 minutes till showtime, so I killed like 2 water bottles, and the plan worked. I was able to like basically piss out all of my boner, and I was able to perform the play the best I could. But the lesson here is, no half measures. If you feel like you need to ejaculate, then fucking do it. Get it out of the way, because you never know when it might come back to haunt you. You might be in the middle of a school play, and then all of a sudden you're spitting out baby gravy into your costume and trying not to cry in front of the whole class. Just don't edge for like 9 hours. Just get it done, get it over with, and then be productive for the rest of the day. That's the lesson. I guess the lesson is quite literally jerk off if you need to. That's it. So yeah.
Did I ever tell you about my first boner though? That's always a good origin story. It's like fucking X-Men Origins Wolverine. Like, I have a whole story for my first boner.
How would you even remember your first boner?
Because it was a really special occasion. Like, it was my first planned boner. Like I'd always got, you get the random boners. You're like, oh, my pee-pee's a little hard. That's odd, as a kid. It's not odd now. Like, I know what's going on now. But
All right.
back then, you don't know. And I remember the very first time I started to correlate things, I was like, when I see boobies, my pee-pee gets a little firmer. So for the first time in my life, I went out of my way to look at boobies. And I remember when my wiener got hard, and it was a strange occasion, because like I didn't know what to type in to find any of that. So I typed in the word fudge, and on like the fourth page of Google Images was a woman with an extremely hairy vagina, and it was enough to get me hard. And I was like, oh fuck, what do I do now? What's the next step? So I tried to suck my own dick, but since I wasn't flexible, I compensated for like the lack of mouth on wiener action, like the distance between them. I compensated by pissing into my face. Or at least that was my plan. But the second I started to like force urine out of my wiener, I couldn't go through with letting it hit my face, so I just like dodged back. I was like, I'm not doing this. I can't. If this is what boners are, I don't like them. I just didn't know how to treat it. But yeah, I remember my first boner. I remember when once I started getting mastery of the boners and understanding how they worked, I still didn't jerk off because I didn't know that was what you were supposed to do in that situation. So I never really jerked off, but I used to do everything else. Like I'd start slapping my boners because I thought that felt good. Even though it hurt, I was like, oh, this is probably normal. This is what you do. You just slap it around and let it know who's boss. So every time I would get like a boner, even in public, I would slap it around. It was so embarrassing. I used to do it under my desk at school and hope nobody heard or noticed. Ugh.
Like you were trying to kill a fly.
I don't know. I don't know what my thought process was, but like I would get a boner and be like, oh, I'm gonna slap it around, and I just start giving it the business. And it wasn't until like I must have been like 14 when I first learned about jerking off. Like all of the boners up till then were just in vain.
My two friends, I think it was two, like there's more than one guy who told me that they first used this weird technique where you jack off with your boxers still on. You basically just rub your knuckles over your dick, and you keep rubbing back and forth like you're trying to play guitar, but with your knuckles against your dick. And because it would be over your boxers, it would feel good without bad friction. But the obvious downside being that when you come, you do come into your boxers, and then your mommy has to clean that up and be proud of you.
I don't know if she has to be proud of you. I think that's only my family.
No, I mean, if you're a parent, I guess that would be like, I don't know, like a milestone, like for real life and achievements. Like,
yeah,
my
baby's
kid's
first ejaculation. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh, that's cute. He doesn't know how to hide his cum yet. Oh, I bet he even left his porn tabs open. Honey, look at this. Our son came. He just left it out in the open.
Oh, he's just like you, honey. He's watching the good old chicks with dicks.
Adorable. Alright, so you touched your wiener in front of a whole basketball
court.
Oh, I didn't
you're selling me short there. Touching my wiener is doing me a justice I don't deserve. I was beating my wiener like it owed me money.
That's good. Do they also do that in America, or anywhere really? Because I've only heard about this in Turkey. I've seen it in Turkey, where the entire back row of a classroom in grade school will just be jacking off.
A friend of mine, well, not a friend of mine, a friend of my friends used to jerk off and come during class a lot.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
But he wasn't in the back row. He would do it in the front row. And no, like who's gonna stop him? Who's gonna go up to this guy who's jerking off openly in front of the class and say, "Please don't do that," or like push his hands away from his cock? No one's gonna get that close.
Was he alone in it? Because what I'm talking about is like organized, like a whole row of guys would go to the back.
It was just a lone ranger.
I see. Well, that was a brave man. That guy's a pioneer, probably.
Yeah, no, that guy really tried to bring about a revolution that no one followed. But he had the right idea. Yeah. When you're jerking off, you're invincible. No one's going to stop you. No one's going to come up to you and like take your hand away from your dick. Like no one's going to slap your hand away.
That's a hero, man. I bet he's like jerking off on Everest right now. You know, one of my actual like bucket list items is just jerking off while skydiving and coming before I land. It's something I want to try. So I just have a story where, you know those douchebags who always have to one-up your story. Like you tell them about something cool that happened to you, they're like, "Oh yeah, that happened to me too, but like it was and they tell you some bullshit that's just so much cooler than yours.
Yeah.
And I want to have that story where, like, you tell me I don't know, you were at a bar fight and it was so cool because this big guy, he got tackled through a post, and I'll go, that's nice. Have you ever jizzed while free falling?
Yeah, I've always wanted like an ace in the hole type story where if someone's trying to
Yeah.
lie to me, I'd be like, no, 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 you sit down and listen to this. But I don't have anything like that yet.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever shoved a dildo up your ass and then like sucked your own dick mid-air?
Well, I don't think anyone would be impressed by that. I think they'd just be scared. Kind of. The jerking off while
Sure.
skydiving is cool, but adding the dildo is just an extra layer of flavor you didn't need.
No, Charlie, there is a thin line between respect and fear, and I dance on it.
I remember one time my parents and I were going to go to the movies and we'd had all planned out, but I really wanted to jerk off. So I told them straight to their face, look, I really want to go, watch some porn and ejaculate. And I made them wait for me to go do that, finish, and then we could go to the movies. And we had to go to a later movie because I took longer than I anticipated.
Well, that's really,
Yeah.
that must have been an awkward wait.
I can't even imagine.
Well, I mean, no, because there's like it's like bittersweet, like your dad must have been like, oh goddamn, we're gonna miss the movie because of the goddamn asshole, but at the same time, wow, he's really
He's
like
committed
some
to the
salmon.
Yeah, he's committed to the craft. I think
Yeah, well,
I think there was a bit of respect there, like my dad was proud. That's my boy. Can jerk
Yeah.
off just like his old man did.
Yeah, 20 minutes now. Wow.
He's still going. Man, nothing used to stop me from jerking off. I broke my right hand one time, just went lefty, just off pure instinct. I was like, I know what to do with this thing. Just right in there.
Good.
Made sure to tell my parents then too. Look, guys, I'm gonna have to mix it up and go lefty this time. Is that okay? Am I breaking family traditions if I do this?
All right. You're really committed to involving your family in your
Yeah, I was.
jerk sessions.
Yeah, I was a weird kid, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Oh, that reminds me. One time I was coming as I was staring into my brother's eyes. It was uncomfortable. I was jacking off, and I guess I forgot to lock the room. No, I actually here I remember. Like when you wake up in the morning, you just have a monster steel erection, and you don't want to get up without jacking off first because it will feel like you just left something in the middle of it. It just doesn't feel right. So I started jacking off under the covers, and just as I'm about to come, the second I'm starting to come, like the jizz is in the dick tube, but it's not out yet, my brother comes into my room, just opens the door and says, are you gonna get up or what? Breakfast is ready. And I'm just legs spread, and I just look at him, like into his eyes, and I come under the sheets. I don't think he noticed, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little uncomfortable.
That sounds like it would be a little uncomfortable.
Imagine if that happened to you and your like dad or mom.
At that,
Stuff like
I was
because
I was
it's your sibling that's kind of well. But if like your I don't know, mom catches you like coming, wouldn't you feel like you were cheating on your dad? Like I don't know.
no, well, that's a weird way of putting it, but I feel like I was conditioning my parents for that reveal. I think they were just waiting for the day they accidentally told me to come eat dinner, and they just saw me like spread eagle on the floor, just looking up at my computer, jerking off her in some weird
Sure.
position, fucking hanging from a fucking rope in the air, doing some of those what do they call them, the the drape acrobatics while jerking off. I think they were just waiting for something unexpected or something disgusting.
Oh my. Ooh, here's what I used to when I was still like not a believer, but like if you're young and people tell you, oh, all of your dead relatives they're in heaven and God is real and blah blah blah, you believe that shit, right? You don't question it. So at some point, for some reason, I developed this weird kink where I always like it would bug me like, wait a minute, like all of my dead relatives are in heaven and they're watching me every moment, like even when I take a shit.
I used to,
Like,
yeah, I used to think
if I'm
that's
just-
the same way.
Yeah, it's just so weird. Like I don't have any privacy even when I'm just doing homework or watching TV. They're watching me. So, and this devolved into this weird kink where when I was jacking off, I would kind of get into it. Like, damn, yeah, they're watching me, and they can't do a thing about it until I die. They cannot question me. Like my grandma, my grandpa, like my entire lineage might be watching me like squeeze my balls right now, and they can't do a thing about it. And I still have to live like 60 years, and that's like I'm gonna beat the monkey 60 years, and they're gonna have to watch it, and that's only when they get to question me, and only then am I going to be embarrassed.
That just reminded like that for some reason you saying that reminded me. I used to jerk off in the weirdest positions because I thought it would feel different. I remember the weirdest one I ever tried is I threw my right leg over the computer I was jerking off to, and I was just jerking off like into the computer, like with my penis head touching the computer. It looked like it was like I was basically like a pair of scissors that were open but only on one side. It like
No,
over the
no, I
computer.
get,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. You were
And
like doing lunges to the computer, and like squat thrusting, fucking your computers. It's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah, I was really into it, and I was like, yeah, you like that, you like that. But I made sure to like get my foot off there before I came, 'cause I didn't want to fucking blast my computer. That'd be a really disgusting trip to Best Buy. Sorry, we don't cover ejaculation damage. Quite some power you got there, though. Oh, you tried the old rusty snowman. Yeah, you got to stay at least 2 inches back when you do that maneuver.
We can offer you the new Retina screens. Come
We can offer you this.
say.
We can offer you this gel screen so you don't break the glass.
All of that stuff really doesn't work. Like you Google ways to jack off like more fun because it just gets boring. But it doesn't work. That stupid trick of use your other hand. It will feel like a clumsy stranger. Why would I want a clumsy stranger to jack me off?
Yeah, no,
I
it's
myself,
stupid.
I'm 25 years old. I've trained my left hand for 25 years. I've specialized it. Its entire purpose is sometimes to pick my nose and jack me off. It's a specialist. It's a jack-off assassin trained and raised for this one purpose. And even that hand has a difficult time sometimes. Why would I use my right hand? Why would I want something so clumsy? That's stupid.
It is
That's like
dumb.
saying, hey, let us animate this snowman so he can jack you off. Why? No. What a stupid... Just all these dumb techniques. It doesn't work. I cannot for shit jack off with my right hand, even though I'm a righty.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird.
I think I told you.
Yeah, you told me about that one.
We talk about dicks behind the scenes too, guys.
It's not just on stream. We're always talking about things. It's sad.
That's a secret, like, club language.
Yeah, I wonder if
kid.
I wonder if my upstairs neighbors have heard every story so far. I hope they
I
have.
hope so.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
My choking of the chicken. One of the times it just didn't go the way I planned. Like I ejaculated before I even started jerking off. I don't even know how it happened, but it happened, and I panicked. I was like, "This wasn't part of the plan. This wasn't in the blueprints." And I immediately just started crying. And then I went to my parents, like, what obviously is still with cum trousers. I was really young with this one, and they were like, "What's wrong?" And visibly taking steps away from me because you can smell cum. Like it's got quite a whiff to it. It's quite the Methodist. And I was like, "I came without touching my pee-pee," and they're like, "It's okay, it happens." But I was so upset about it, and I was crying for the whole night about it. And I was like, "Now I have to wait until I can make cum again. I have to wait. Make sure it's normal. What if it's not normal? What if I'm just gonna start coming randomly now when I get boners? I can't do this. I can't handle it. I need to wait now." And I was just panicking and just going nuts. Ugh, it was so uncomfortable.
It's just so fascinating to me. I wish I could do it, but instead I have to like really beat it hard, like I'm trying to squeeze the juice out of a potato. Just really, I cannot do. I don't know how they do it.
I also one time got it in my head that it'd be really, really sexy if I started peeing before I came. That backfired immediately because once I got to the point where I was like ready to ejaculate and I put that on standby to urinate, I just pissed my pants and all over my carpet. And I was like, "Oh fuck, abort mission, abort mission." And then I just like ran to my bathroom while still pissing my pants. But by the time I reached the toilet, like I had already had my vinegar strokes, so then I started coming. It was such a fucking mess.
I mean,
Like I was a fucking well-oiled machine back in my prime jerk-off days. Now I'm just standard stuff, but Back then,
Yeah,
man, that was wacky.
yeah, mommy's proud years. It's just when your child, like, those cum stains and skid marks.
Yeah,
He's growing up.
he's just like his father. I'm surprised there wasn't bumper stickers on our car. My son jerks off a lot and he does it great.
Yeah,
Proud parent.
God.
I used to bring other objects into the equation too sometimes to see what would stick. Like I just take whatever was around my room. Like one time my dog's squeaky toy was in there and I was like, you know what, this could be cool. So as I was jerking off, I was squeaking the toy in the other hand. It was, needless to say, it wasn't as hot as it was in my head. Man, I really could go on for days about the dumb shit I used to do. Wow. All about my penis. My penis has been through so much.
Yeah, mine too.
Well, yours seems at least standard.
What?
Mine was just weird. I confused it. It's like, you know how in exercising they say confuse your muscles? My penis was beyond confused for X amount of years.
My friend made me giggle once when he told me that he beat it so often his dick was calloused, like on one side. You ever jack off in a hot shower?
Yeah, oh,
Because
oh,
it's
yeah.
really difficult.
Yeah. It gets really
Because-
dry.
No, not that, but I was in this hotel room once when me and my mom were staying someplace and I was younger. So for some reason, that like water was just super hot and I was super into it. Like I like hot showers, and it was super steamy. And I just started jacking off, and I just couldn't come. But I got a fucking grudge. Like that was my fucking Moby Dick. I was gonna come. I was not gonna leave the shower, and it went on for so fucking long that I started to get dizzy because it was just so hot and so steamy, and just my blood pressure just plummeted. Because my heart rate was just going up because I was still trying to jack it with like 2 grams of oxygen left in the fucking shower room. So I got out super dizzy. I was about to collapse on the floor. I just had to sit down. And my mom, of course, she didn't know what the fuck was up. She just thought I was taking a shower, and now I'm about to like puke and collapse on the floor. So she took me to a doctor. And so we're sitting in front of the doctor, and the doctor's asking me like, "Have you been physically exerting yourself?" And now I understand what she meant, but at the time I said no. So she said, stuff like that can happen sometimes. Just keep an eye on it or something like that. I'm sure she like knew what was up. I bet I wasn't the first guy I was about to pass out because he jacked off in a hot, steamy shower.
I was just taking a shower. I can only imagine from your mom's perspective what the fuck happened in there.
Yeah, no, she was just genuinely concerned.
Yeah.
I guess I would be the opposite parent, where if my son told me he was like about to faint after he came out of the shower, I'd be yeah, right. You fucking asshole, just get to your room and finish jacking off there. And then 2 hours later, I just find him on his bed with a fucking heart attack because it was an actual condition, but I didn't believe him. I thought he was just lying. I did this when I was a child. I didn't know he had an actual heart condition. Then I'll feel guilty about myself, and I'll never be able to jack off in the shower again.
Yeah, you
PTSD
one.
flashbacks to my son. Oh, my, this isn't funny. My son died like this. On the spot, he was looking at this very drain as he was jacking it.
My son used to love to jerk off in here. Fucking 2-hour stream all about our disgusting stories of our wieners. I love it. I wouldn't have it any
it's
other way.
awesome because I wonder what Pinar would think of me if she listened to any of this. And nothing like this has ever come up.
I'm gonna send it to her one day. Just catch her roll off guard. Here's Kaya behind the scenes. The face he doesn't want you to see.
Yeah, you do that, Charlie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Don't worry.
I don't worry. I get that. I don't know. Okay. I kind of just want to send it to her just to whet our friendship, just to just to test it. Like, is it strong enough? Like, can she handle me at my worst? Does she deserve me at my best?
Can she handle me at my flaccidest? Does she deserve me at my hardest?
Yeah, like if I'm disgusting to her just because I jack off, does she even deserve me when I am lucid and not horny? I should send this video to everyone I meet. Like, hey, Ashley, like you and me have been getting close, but here's a video I want you to watch, and it's just 5 hours of me discussing my erections, and it's really important to me that you watch this and then give me an opinion.
If get into online dating and make it like mandatory viewing for all of the matches. Hello there, future potential wife or breeding mate. Here is 4 hours of all of my jack-off stories and my flaws. I expect you to listen to all of it. There will be a test once we begin conversation. Enjoy.
Like chapter X is like, I talk about trying to suck my own dick at 4 minutes and 16 seconds.
Yeah, timestamps.
Yeah.
Fucking chapters. Chapter 1, The Awakening.
Yeah. Put stars next to the most important ones.
Yeah.
Cubicle.
Yeah, just tell
Thank
the
you.
boss. Just tell the boss to his face, remind him, be like, sir, I do jack off. I tried a jerk off stance. I actually gave it a nickname. I called it the grandfather clock, and I spread my legs as far as I could get them, like well past shoulder width, and I just let my cock dangle, and I jerked off while like slowly swinging forward, so that way it would go forward and back like a pendulum. That was kind of cool. I had a bunch of different stances I would take just to try it out to see if it felt any different or any cooler.